Gwata gives you a first look at North Central Washington's business news. You'll hear from our local business, tech, and education companies as Jenny discusses hot topics and current events with some of the best innovators and pioneers in North Central Washington.
Hello, North Central Washington. Welcome to Gwata TV. I'm your host, Jenny Rojanasatian. Every week on Gwata TV, we take an in-depth look at what's happening in North Central Washington in terms of technology, entrepreneurship, or STEM education. And we feature a different guest on one of these three topics. Today I'm very excited to have Ron Brown. He's the Director of Instructional Technology for Wenatchee School District, and he also serves as the Gwata Board President to talk about not only technology and STEM in the classroom, but initiatives that Gwata is undertaking. Thank you for coming on air today, Ron.
Absolutely.
Excited to have you.
Thank you very much for having me.
So let's talk first about you and your role at Wenatchee School District. So what is Director of Instructional Technology?
Director of Instructional Technology is a role that basically is in charge of, coordinates, or administers any program to do with teaching and learning using technology tools. So, our school district's about 8,000 students. We're over 500 teachers. So any program that teachers have to learn how to use new computers, tablets, things in their classroom, robotics, etc., with their kids. My department does the training, support of any of those kind of systems.
And how long have you been in this role with Wenatchee School District, or Wenatchee School District in general?
Yeah, I've had a long career in Wenatchee. I was raised here, graduated from Wenatchee High School, went off to college, came back, and my first job was at Pioneer Middle School. Taught for 10 years at middle school. I taught in a STEM classroom, actually, 24 years ago now. And then I kind of moved from that into coordinating technology, helping teachers with technology, and then moved into the administrative position about 8 years ago.
STEM is definitely not a new concept, no. As you just mentioned, right? But it is the hot topic right now. So you bring that into your role now in technology, and I imagine it's quite unique as you span from, the little ones at 6 years old all the way through senior in college, or senior in high school, excuse me.
It's quite the variety, and obviously when you have one director for a K-12 program, it is a tremendous amount of varied applications of the same thing. So we might have robotics with 5-year-olds, but we have robotics with 11th and 12th graders and everything in between. So it's figuring out how to scale that and appropriately deliver it by grade level, by kids who are ready or not.
And as I keep finding, as someone from the community, kids are ready a lot sooner than we think. A program that we've even thought initially was for high school students really applies at the middle school and earlier. So thank you for being on air. We're going to go to a commercial break, but when we get back, we're going to dive into what's going on with STEM at Wenatchee School District, a little bit about Gwata, so stay tuned. Welcome back to Gwata TV. Today I'm talking with Ron Brown, who's the Director of Instructional Technology for Wenatchee School District. And we're talking about STEM education, what's going on in Wenatchee School District. So let's talk a little bit about the Tech and STEM Showcase. Can you tell our viewers what that program is about?
Yeah, so about 4 or 5 years ago, we developed a partnership with some local school districts, and Wenatchee started delivering I call it a showcase. It's still called a showcase. It's just it's a place for teachers, students to show off to the community the different ways that kids are learning now, using technology, using science. So it is a STEM showcase because we have some science, some technology, some engineering. Not a lot of math going on, but maybe embedded in one of those other places.
And this program started as a Wenatchee School District and Instructional Technology Showcase, I think in 2012?
Yep.
And served the 8,000 students within your district, but what I think is really cool is the opening up to other school districts. So on screen you're seeing some pictures from last year. We had 5 school districts participate in 2017 at the Tech and STEM Showcase, ranging from Wenatchee all the way out to Omak.
Yeah, Soap Lake, Quincy, Wenatchee, East Wenatchee, and Omak were our representatives last year, and we've had Moses Lake in the past and some other school districts. So we're pretty happy about taking it more regional, I think it brings a better sense of community. It shows off really a lot of variety, because obviously Wenatchee doesn't have the answers. We want to be able to share what we do and let other school districts share what they do.
And as you're seeing from the photos, what's really unique about the Tech and STEM Showcase is it's the only event where it's just teachers and students. So a lot of times we're lucky to feature tech in terms of the business climate and explore what's happening inside of industry. But at the Tech and STEM Showcase, it's exclusively teachers and students, mostly students interacting with the public. And again, that grade band, I think we just saw some students who are in first grade who were presenting.
Yeah, it's a very fun event, and we want and encourage teachers to bring students with them, because that's where it's just the best information. If you're a public community member and have never talked to a 7, 8, 9-year-old about what they're doing in school because you're disconnected with it, your kids are maybe grown up, it just gives you a really good picture into what kids these days, to use that term, are doing in class.
Absolutely. And the other thing I like about the Tech and STEM Showcase is that because it's held at the Pybus Public Market, it's really put in that public setting instead of being housed inside of a singular school district. So the general public may not even realize when they're going down to the farmers market that they get to explore what's happening in the classrooms and make that connection, as you said. They're not in touch with what may be going on currently.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the people who visit the showcase annually since we moved it to Pybus probably are those happen to come by, happen to see it in the concourse, and then get really inquisitive and go through each booth and talk to the kids, and that really lights up the kids' eyes when they can talk to the community members.
And this event, let's remind our viewers when the next Tech and STEM Showcase is.
So this is May 19th from 9 to 1 at Pybus. It'll be, I think we're planning on about 25 to 30 booths of a variety of school districts that have already applied and are ready to go. We will have kids from probably 6 years old to 18 and everything in between.
And it's a free event. A lot of the booths are hands-on.
Yes.
And allow someone's bringing their kids or even family members to explore what that technology is, what the computer science piece is as well. So very interactive.
Yeah, one of the really fun pieces we've tried to include or make sure we've done outreach with the museum and the library. So they always have a presence at the showcase. They're going to come again this year, and they have a very hands-on approach to their booths. So it's showing what we're doing in the class, but their activities typically are then available to the smaller kids to play with, to start coding or to build things, and we give them enough space and spread them out so they can actually get their hands on some things.
So lots of kids can get involved. Yeah. And that's a great segue. If people are not already aware, a lot of our informal education institutions, the library and the museum, on an ongoing basis provide STEM workshops, curriculum, support. So I want to recognize those partners in our community for also supporting education.
Yeah, those nonprofits have been fantastic partners for Gwata, but they've been partners for the school district for years, and the collaborations, and they have the same vision for what they want to do with the kids, from Lego competition teams to STEM nights to something we're going to talk about in a couple minutes, the collaboration with the library.
That's right. Before we get to that collaboration, I do want to recognize some of our local business partners who are sponsoring the Tech and STEM Showcase. Gigawatt, which is a local company, is sponsoring the showcase along with Microsoft and Oath. So we want to recognize those three technology companies for seeing the vision and supporting not only this event, but access to education. So let's talk about the library. We're hosting a new event through the library in partnership with Apple STEM Network and Gwata called Coder Dojo. So what is Coder Dojo?
I'm pretty excited about it. This is something where the community might have heard of Hour of Code events, where they have school district schools in our region have opened up their schools for maybe an hour or so every once in a while for parents and students to come in and learn coding. So what is coding? Well, Coder Dojo is going to give you that same approach to coding, and parents and kids can come to the library maybe once, twice a month, and and sit down with some volunteers themselves, resources, computers, and start to learn what is coding, what is this new language, because it is the literacy of our students, and learning software development is in so many job paths, and just being able to support those job paths locally is going to be really cool.
And the pathways connections to careers, I think that's really important to us as a community to recognize there's a strong need for computing employees in the North Central Washington, which is why you talked about professionals coming in to mentor the students. We have STEMILT, we have Pet Hub, Confluence Health. We have several partners who employ IT professionals, including Wenatchee School District, who are going to come and work with the students who come on site. So Coder Dojo is starting on Saturday, May 26th at the North Central Regional Library in downtown Wenatchee. It's from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. It's a free 2-hour coding program. The library is generously allowing us to use laptops, so we eliminate a barrier if a student doesn't have access to their own technology to bring in. And you can find out more information on the Gwata website about the start of Coder Dojo. Looks like it's time for us to head to a commercial break, but stay tuned. We'll be back here with some great content. Welcome back to Gwata TV. I'm here today with Ron Brown, Director of Instructional Technology, but he's also the Gwata Board President, and as the TV show is appropriately named, this is Gwata TV. It's about the work our 501c3 is doing in North Central Washington, serving Chelan, Douglas, Grant, and Okanogan counties. So it's really nice for us as we get a little bit of time to explore the mission of Gwata, talk a little bit about yourself and the officers. So why don't we start there with our our nonprofit board? You're the president. How long have you been president?
This is my second year in the term of presidency. I've been on the board for about 6 years.
Thankfully, I was able to recruit him for another year onto the leadership team. And then we also have 2 other officers.
So Stacy Lukensmeyer from Wenatchee Valley College is our vice president, and Scott Ptolemy of Web Guides in Wenatchee is our secretary/treasurer, and fills dual roles. And then we have 9 active board of director members and 5 other board of advisor members who are all volunteers.
And what's amazing about not just our nonprofit, but there's incredible nonprofits throughout the region, is that these board of directors are really passionate about our organization. That's why they volunteer with us, but they're the ones driving initiatives and bringing the relevance to what we need to be doing, because they represent different industries in our community.
Very intentionally, our board of directors represent a lot of different tech sectors, nonprofit sectors, educational sectors, because that really lines up with our mission of really connecting different types of organizations in the Valley.
And the 3 initiatives of Gwata, we just talked a lot about the STEM education initiative and how that ties to workforce, but also it's around technology and technology education and entrepreneurship. So let's talk a little bit about those 3 areas in terms of initiatives Gwata is undergoing right now.
So we just got done with a fabulous Flywheel Investment Conference, something to support our local entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs from around the state. And that was a very big event for Gwata, and a first-time thing to have that investment conference in Wenatchee.
Absolutely. So the investment conference back on May 19th that was just held downtown Wenatchee, but that's just one of several large-scale events. You've also helped captain and spearhead our Innovator Awards Luncheon, which has been happening since 1999. For the audience who may not have heard of the Innovator Awards Luncheon, let's talk a little bit about that event.
So that's an event where we want to recognize and give back some awards to local businesses, local entrepreneurs, local educators, and when I say local, community-wide in the region and the footprint of Gwata. So we have a luncheon every year that we would like to recognize those individuals. They're nominated by their peers and then awarded at a nice luncheon with a good keynote, and really highlighting what they've given back to the community in their industry or in their area of expertise.
And the Innovator Award Luncheon also allows an opportunity to bring those three distinct categories together. So, you know, a lot of the initiatives, Flywheel encapsulated multiple layers of support around entrepreneurs and technology. But sometimes our events are just a STEM event or just an entrepreneur event. So at the Innovator Awards Luncheon, people really come together and you see that continuum in programming. You know, you've been with Gwata for 6 years. What are some of the initiatives that you're most proud of or been excited about in 2018?
I'd say for 2018, well, I'm going to go backwards and give you some kudos. You know, one of the things I'm most proud of over the last 3 years is building our organization up to capacity to have some full-time staff to carry out the mission and the vision. With a volunteer board, it's sometimes difficult to pull off the level of events that we'd like to accomplish and the outreach we'd like to accomplish. So hiring a full-time executive director, which you have done a fabulous job with for the community, hiring an events coordinator, a marketing coordinator, and hopefully adding more staff over time, because I think our mission is big enough to support more. So one of the things I'm most proud of is just increasing our footprint, getting out into Grant County, attracting more sponsorships from the private sector along with the public sector that really believe in where Gwata is trying to go, and becoming, I guess, kind of a household name. You know, 3, 4, 5 years ago, not everybody knew what you meant when you said Gwata, and I think that is a lot more transparent, and people kind of know what you're talking about.
Yes, for those of you who don't know what our name stands for and you wonder why Gwata TV every week, Gwata stands for Greater Wenatchee Area Technology Alliance. But because our span goes across North Central Washington, and because Greater Wenatchee Area Technology Alliance is kind of a mouthful, we just have narrowed that down into Gwata. And so I agree, getting that household name. What else is it? I can't talk right now. Another thing that's exciting is that technology continues to change. So the relevance of a nonprofit that wants to promote technology education, that's not going to go away anytime soon. It's only going to continue to grow. As we've seen in this last year, a lot of talk around blockchain and Bitcoin. That did not exist prior to 2009 is when that technology started. And I imagine next year there will be another slew of topics that will be brand new. So for us to bring that to the community and for the community to want to engage, I think being in North Central Washington, we are looked at as a rural community, but we're really vibrant. We're leading in innovation, leading in technology. So staying relevant is very important.
And it's difficult because with technology, change happens so rapidly and so consistently. You have to be okay with pivoting and shifting and finding that next thing that really matches, whether it's workforce development, training, or just the current industry and what the standards are, and staying up with that. So it's a never-ending but really exciting thing to be able to keep changing and keep evolving.
Absolutely. Now we are going to head to another commercial break, but when we get back, we'll wrap up today's segment by talking about how you can get involved, how you can learn more about technology initiatives that are happening, connect in with technology education, as well as retouching on the STEM events we talked about earlier. After the commercial break, you'll also be seeing our weekly tech tip. This week it's featuring GTC Technical Support, which is a technology company right here in Wenatchee. So stay tuned.
Hi, my name is Derek McVeigh. I work for GTC Tech Support. We do outsourced tech support, and today I'm going to be talking about how to avoid call scams. A way cybercriminals try to scam the public is by calling and claiming that they are from Microsoft Tech Support. Microsoft Tech Support will never actively outreach to customers to inform them of a problem. You have to call them and let them know that you are having a problem, and then they will help you. A scammer will try to direct you to a legitimate website like join.me to gain access to your computer. Once they have access to your computer, they can install malicious software to gain personal information about you. Never give anyone control over your computer if you cannot verify who they are. If you've already allowed access to your computer, make sure that you change all your passwords. You can report tech support scams by filling out a form at the FTC website. This is Derek with the GTC, and this was your weekly tech tip.
We want to thank our friends and members at GTC Technical for doing that weekly tech tip with us. And Ron and I have had a great show today. I want to thank you for being on air. We talked about a lot of things because technology and entrepreneurship and STEM initiatives, there's been a lot going on. Help us recap. Where can people get engaged in the future?
So we have several events coming up, and I'm going to start with our monthly event we have. Is called Tech Talk and Happy Hour, which is a great event to connect with others, and we have industry leaders leading some talks, usually at a brewery. So that's a great event. May 19th, as we mentioned, is the STEM Showcase at Pybus. May 26th, if you have some students or are interested in volunteering even, we have a Coder Dojo. It's going to be at the North Central Regional Library. And then, always look forward to our Innovator Awards, which this year is at the end of September. And
right. September 26th.
Nominations will be coming out pretty soon so that we can kind of get some of that going.
That's a great reminder. So as we talked about, we recognize tech-savvy businesses, entrepreneurs, teachers, and students. And the nominations are all community-driven. Last year we received over a dozen nominations just for students, and those start in May. So it's a great way to recognize members of the community, as you mentioned, through that nominations process. So a lot of ways to engage with Gwata. They can also visit us online. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, our great new website was retooled not that long ago, and I think you'll find some very valuable information on there.
Absolutely.
At gwata.org.
Absolutely. Gwata.org. Check out our upcoming events, past resources, and make sure you check in next week. We'll be back on Gwata TV doing a recap of the Flywheel Investment Conference. Really exciting initiative. We didn't have time to go into it today, but we'll fully explore what happened, who the winner was, and how you can get involved with Flywheel next year. Thanks for joining us on Gwata TV, and have a great week.
Since 1999, Gwata has served as North Central Washington's Tech Alliance. As a 501c3, our mission is to bring people and technology resources together to create a thriving community. Through our work, we aim to inspire, engage, and connect.